Hey everyone. So a lot of people are stuck inside right now all around the globe because of the whole COVID-19 virus. So people who like to swim, triathletes, swimmers, etc., you can't really go to a pool right now. You can't go to the gym. Everything's closed. What are we going to do? Well, luckily for us, there's a whole bunch of different options that we can do here at home. So first basic option, we have stretch cords. You can see they just have the regular handle on the end. You know, same kind of thing that you find at your gym. You can get these on Amazon. They deliver it to your house. Don't have to go anywhere. Another option called stretch cords. It's with a Z, or for you Americans, a Z. And you can get these on Amazon too. They're a little bit more expensive, but as you can see here, they're made with two separate cords that are about 4.5 feet long, and they have these little connections, and you can get them with, they come with these paddles, which look very similar to your swimming paddles that we're also used to. So what you do is, there's a couple different ends. You have this end right here. You can hook this around a doorknob, close it around a door. You can choke it on itself around something. Other options are these loops. They're Velcro. You can put these around things. These are what I usually take with me to the gym, and I use these. And you can put them around poles, around different cardio equipment. If you have racking, storage racks, fencing, even your railing out on your balcony, that'll work. These cords come in various colors and strengths. So this is a green, so this is somewhere in the middle. You can see there's two here. I would definitely recommend you get one size lighter than you think you need. So usually I would probably have thought I wanted a little bit stronger than a green, but I went down to a green. In below green is yellow. I probably could have been fine with the yellow as well. That way you can do a little bit more higher reps without getting too tired, because these are pretty strong, and the further away, the harder they get. And you only have, you know, kind of one stroke length of usable space. So if it's loose up here, once you start getting back here, it starts to get really tight. So I definitely recommend going a little bit lighter on that. So those are two of your options. I mean, even if you just use tubing or just regular band material, those are other options you can use, and I'll show you how we can use them. So I'm going to show you how we're going to use these stretch cords today. I'm going to show you using my stretch cords with the paddles. It doesn't really matter if you have paddles or not. These stretch cords actually come with just a regular handle. As you can see here, you can just remove the paddle and you can put this handle on. So it's not super important to have the paddle. It's just kind of helpful because you are working with that flat palm, but you can still use the handle and still use that flat palm. So these you can see here, this is just a doorknob loop. So what we're gonna do is we have our doorknob here. Just hook it around. I have a lever. A lot of houses have just regular round knobs, but this will work just the same. You kind of put it around the door latch there, and you're just going to close it gently on the strike plate. And there you go. Now it's anchored. And now you can pull, and you don't have to worry about it shooting off, smacking you in the face. It's the last thing you want to happen right now. I mean, we're stuck inside as it is. Might as well not have a broken nose. Okay, now that we got our stretch cord anchored, you got it anchored to your doorknob. You can anchor it to something else. You can see right here I have set up one of the loops. So you can see the Velcro just kind of goes around the rack system. And you could just connect to this little D-ring right here. But I'm just using the door because the door is easy for me. Even if you have a piece of rope, you can tie around a column in your kitchen or your living room, one of your supporting members of your house. That'll work just fine. So these go on just like a regular paddle. There's a rubber loop that goes around your finger. And so the big thing that we want to work on with these paddles is really making sure our technique is really sound. I mean, we're not going to be really working on our aerobic fitness with this. Really what we're doing is working on a little bit of our strength. And then we're also just working on trying to get our muscles to fire in the right pattern for the stroke technique. So really working on early vertical forearm. So that's this portion of the stroke. right in that first phase. This is really something that a lot of triathletes especially have a lot of issue with. So we have a few different methods we can use. We can do sections at a time. So just doing that first phase, doing multiple repeats on that, just getting that hand used to that catch, high elbows, keeping the elbows, working on not rotating the shoulder in. So that's a big thing that a lot of people can get issues with their shoulder if they're rolling their shoulder in too much like this. So what we want to do is keep that elbow high, keep the shoulder strong. You can even rotate a little bit in like a regular stroke. I prefer to use both arms at the same time and rotate back and forth. But if you only have one band, so if you only have one of these, you're not only be able to do one arm at a time. So you can work on that first phase like this. You can work through the power phase. So coming through the power portion and then the finish, making sure that you're completing the stroke all the way to the end. And remember that, so we're not really working on the recovery. We're not really working on the recovery phase. This is all going to be basically underwater. So you want to bend your back, keep your back flat, because when you're swimming, you're not arching your back, right? Keep it nice and flat, bend at your hips. So we want to come through the first phase of the stroke, through the power, and out to the end. So really look when you're working. Look at keeping that elbow high, keep the elbow high, coming through, power through, and out to the end. And after a few reps of this, you're going to start feeling it in your lat here, and that's good. This is the big mover right here, your big lat muscle. This is really what's going to give you a lot of power when you're actually swimming. So we want to make sure that we're keeping our elbows high. And just like when you're swimming, right in front of your shoulder, that's where you want your hand coming in. You want to keep it in line with your shoulder as you enter. And then we're coming through, out the back. So here's a few variations of what we can do. We can do our single arms. So come up, remember, work on that early vertical forearm. Keep the elbow high. You want to keep that elbow high. Protect your shoulder. Come in, power phase. And then switch arms. So we can work on both. If you have two bands, of course. If you're only working with one band, you're going to have to do one at a time, but that's no problem. You got a lot of time to kill now that you're stuck inside. So we can do single arms, alternating. Really work on that really good high elbow, early vertical forearm. Come through. So that's one variation. But we can work on two at a time. So keeping those elbows high, power through. Power through. So it's almost like a butterfly motion coming through. We can also work on just one portion at a time. Do 30 seconds, 10 reps. So just working on that first phase of the catch. So do one arm, that arm starts to get tired. Work on the next arm. Then we can work on the power phase. So pulling through. And these, you really want to be deliberate and focus on that technique. These aren't about speed or trying to set some world record. This is all about trying to work on that technique. And then the power or the finish, hands coming out the back. Okay guys, so here's the same two things we just did, but from the side view, so you can get kind of an idea of what it looks like from the side. So we have our two bands here. We're hooked up. So you want to really work on that high elbow catch. On the catch phase, power, and all the way to the extension at the end. So you can work on just the catch phase, power phase, and extension. So we can do our two arms. Really focusing on the technique, and look up. It's good to look down once you kind of get in a good rhythm, but there's nothing wrong with looking up and making sure that your hands are in alignment. And then we can do our single arms. these are all techniques that you can use while you're stuck in self-isolation, stuck in your house, can't go to the pool, that kind of thing. This is something that we're probably going to be facing for the next couple weeks, if not the next few months. So, you know, this is something that's really going to help you just maintain your technique. You're not so much going to maintain your swim fitness. I mean, hopefully you still have a bike trainer, or it's nice enough you can run outside, or maybe even a treadmill in your own house, and you can still work on your aerobic fitness that way. But this is going to help you so that when you get back in the pool, you start getting ready for races, it's not going to be super foreign. You're not going to feel like you've lost everything. So this is something you can do a couple times a week, and it's really going to help you. So good luck, everyone.